Have you ever looked up and thought, how did I get here? Not because life is bad, but because somewhere along the way it feels like you just stop living it. The days become weeks, the weeks become years, and you're doing all the right things. You're doing the day-to-day things that need to be doing, but somehow it's just not you anymore. I don't think that we're living on autopilot because we're lazy or we're unmotivated. I think that we're just running on these old programs. And the good thing about that is that programs can be updated. Our brains are incredible. Every moment we're taking in millions of pieces of information. We're taking in all the colours around us, the sounds, the feel of the temperature, how our clothes feel on us, the thoughts that are running around in our head, the smells. There's so many pieces of information, as well as how our body feels. And if we were to be consciously aware of all of that, we'd become really overwhelmed. So our brain does something really clever. It filters. It filters out what it thinks is important, and everything else just runs on autopilot. Our brain creates shortcuts so that we don't have to think of everything at once. So, for example, like if you're driving the car, you're not actually thinking about when you put your foot on the brake, how hard you have to put it on. Do I need to stop or slow down? You're actually, your brain knows the triggers to do certain things, and so it automatically does it. And this allows you to be driving your car while thinking about other things. You're still consciously aware if a new pattern comes along that you need to adapt to, like someone runs out in front of you, you'll suddenly switch on and become aware of that. But the most of it is done automatically. Have you ever driven somewhere and thought, oh, how did I get here? Who was driving the car? You were. The part of your brain that has it all automated. That's who was driving the car. Without realizing it, those shortcuts become the way we live our lives. We stop making conscious decisions, and before we know it, yesterday becomes today, and repeat, just on automatic pilot. And we start to notice that that's exactly what's happening. Many of the beliefs that we actually live by aren't actually our own. We come by them through our culture, our experiences, family, teachers, our friend groups, and we adapt them. Maybe somewhere along the way you learnt or took on that you should not ask for things too much. You should put others before yourself. That to be accepted, you have to give all the time. That to be liked in a yeah, you need to adapt who you are to the group that you're with. That it's rude to say no. There's many of these things that we take on. At first, these thoughts were just ideas, but over time they become habits, and habits become part of the program that we run in the background, quietly in the background, and we become not even aware of them anymore because they're on automatic. The strange thing is that we think that these patterns are who we are. We think this is our identity, but they're not. They're just patterns that we've picked up, and you can pick up new habits and patterns. Here's something fascinating. Have you ever noticed that, say, when you buy a new car, you suddenly see that model or that colour everywhere? And it's like they just suddenly appeared. It's not that they appeared at all, they were always there. It's just that your brain suddenly decided that that was important. There was an emotion attached to it as well. There was the excitement of getting the new car. So your brain now sees that. It's focused on it. That same phenomenon is happening in our lives all the time. Our brain's deciding what's important by something that we've focused on, particularly if we've attached an emotion to it. So if you are being disappointed a few times, you will see more and more things that come up in your life that are disappointing. You'll see, if you were focusing on problems, you'll see more problems. If you're focusing on good stuff, you'll start to see that as more as well. It's like when you go out for a walk, you can forget before you go for the walk how beautiful the surroundings are around you. But when you get out there, you start to notice, for example, the water and the sparkles on the water. to see them behind me. And once you start focusing on that, you'll then start looking at how beautiful the light is across the green grass and the shadows that are forming. You start to see more beauty, and then you might notice the birds. One thing leads to another because your brain's decided that that is important. There's a part of our brain that tells us what's important and tells us what to filter out and what we should notice. So if in the morning you are waking up and thinking, I'm stuck, or I hate my job, or I hate this, then your brain will decide that's something to focus on and look for. Look for evidence to prove that that's actually what's happening. Thoughts like nothing ever changes, or I'm getting old or ugly. If you're having those thoughts when you look in the mirror, there are small emotions attached to those thoughts. And so your brain will decide that that's important. It will then go looking for evidence to back that up. You'll start seeing when you look in the mirror the wrinkles and the faults rather than the beauty. You'll start noticing what's going wrong rather than what's going right. And it's not because your brain wants to keep you unhappy, it's because it wants to be consistent and it likes to prove that things are right and to categorize things so that it can make some things automatic so that we can focus on other things and free up brain space for learning new things. If you're rolling your eyes right now thinking, oh, it's all about positive thinking, it's not. There's more to it than that. Let's try something together. Imagine that you've just picked up a lemon and you cut it, a nice slice into the lemon, and you can smell all that nice citrusy lemon smell, and maybe you got a bit on your fingers as you cut it. And then you squeeze it and you can see the juice running out. You can smell it. And then I want you to imagine that you take a really big bite of that lemon right in your mouth. Did your mouth start to water? Mine does every time. That's how powerful our imagination is. It's much easier to remember something we've done before or think of something in terms of remembering it. So if I was to try and imagine in the future that I'm going for a walk, I would then get stuck with all the where am I going, what am I doing, what am I wearing, all those variables that get stuck. But if I'm trying to create a memory of going for a walk and how that felt, I might take myself back to something that felt really good and start remembering that. Or you can also create new memories. If your thoughts can create tension, they can also create calm. If your thoughts can create fear, then they're also capable of creating hope and happiness. Your imagination isn't just for remembering the past. It's for creating the future. You can use it that way. You can bring some of the feelings that you felt in the past and bring them into new situations. So you might remember the excitement of something happening, but attach that feeling to something you want to do in the future. One of the simplest ideas from coaching and NLP is called a pattern interrupt. Now that sounds technical, but it's just really something simple. It's when you do something and you interrupt a pattern in its tracks so that you change it instantly. So, for example, if you catch yourself feeling anxious or frightened about something or worrying, which we all do at times, then you get up and do something with your body straight away. You get up and shake, move, um, pull a funny face, start singing. Sometimes if I'm worrying at night time, I have to do a really, major pattern interrupt because often at 3 o'clock in the morning, those thoughts are going over and over. And if you lie there, it just gets worse because your brain thinks that this is important. So I get up and have a shower, or I get up and do a few yoga stretches. I interrupt the pattern. I tell my brain that no, those worries are not important. I can do something else. I'm doing this. This is now important. So it stops those thoughts in its track. Just trying to stop thoughts with thoughts often doesn't work because it's still worrying or it's still being frightened. The emotion's still attached to it. It's much easier to create a new thought when you've interrupted the old one. I don't think creating a beautiful life happens with one big decision. I believe it happens by creating lots of tiny moments that become automatic and part of our lives. And we do that by interrupting the old patterns and behaviors to create new ones. It doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect. It means noticing that we have more influence than what we think, that we can choose to be and do and have a life that we want. And we don't have to keep running these old programs. Life will always keep changing. And the question is, are you changing with it? Or are you still running on those old programs automatically and you haven't updated it to be the woman that you want to be and live the life that you want to live? Today, I'd like to leave you with one question. What old program is still running in your life that needs changing? And for me, this has been one that's been a little bit ongoing, I must admit. I recently hurt my knee and I have an old program still running that says I have to be the strong one and I'm the one that helps others, not the one that receives the help. And so I've had to accept help. I've had to accept the help of a crutch. I've had to go to the doctor and ask for help. I've had to ask people to carry things for me. And it's it wasn't easy for me, but I'm getting there. And I do realize that this is an old program that was running in my life and one that I need to update because I've never wanted anyone that I've helped to feel bad about receiving the help that I'm giving them because it was never coming from a place of, you know, that wasn't my aim. I was hoping to help them, make them feel good. And other people also feel good when they help you. So here's me updating my program, and I'd love to hear about what programs you're updating in your life. Until there, next time, keep creating that beautiful life.